Here with Xavier. Xavier is one of the most fascinating fashion designers I have ever met in my life. He just knows how to mix things, and he just is constantly mixing things in a way that you would think is not mixable, and yet it always fucking works. It always fucking works. Whatever Xavier does, it works. He's got like multiple socks with boots, and he's got colorful things, and then he does a lot of things with tape, like Modrian, and he's got a union hat on with something else going on underneath it. Why don't you talk about what you do?
I like to ask questions. I went to NYU for musical theater, and when I moved there on the first day, there was a guy in Washington Square Park who was wearing all white, and he was homeless, and his whites were the whitest whites I'd ever seen in my entire life. And his look was the most avant-garde thing coming from North Carolina that I'd ever witnessed, and I was wondering, where was he going? Where was he coming from? Why was he on the streets like that? Is there a place for someone like that to live their life like that? And I found it in New York, but I saw a lack of people asking those questions that made me question, that made me want to know what questions were for myself. So I started living out loud with like a mix of things, because that's what New York City was. It was a melting pot that tasted good together. It was never just one flavoring or seasonings, it was all. And that's just really where I get my inspiration from. It's an ideal understanding of a mix of a lot of things, but how a lot of things together can still work out and make harmony and not discord.
Like Cajun cooking.
Like Cajun cooking. Just like Cajun cooking. They're Creole, they're French, but they're Southern. There's all these different mixes. And
Where are you from, Xavier?
I'm from North Carolina.
So as a Southern man moving to New York, did you come with this idea of fashion?
No, my God. When I look back on myself, I was not stylish at all. Fashion at all. There was no idea, no understanding of it.
You came up with wingtip shoes?
I came up with the idea of what I thought pushing fashion was in 1997, 98, Skechers and blow-up silhouettes and bolo ties and silk shirts, and then I got here and I was like, oh my God, look what's going on, I love it, I can't take it. And then I started switching what fashion was and pushing what fashion was. And for instance, right now I have a Band-Aid with a mustache drawn on. That's because I'm going into my Invisible Man phase, which is I'm gonna tape up my entire face by Christmas, and then I'm teaching myself to draw a perfect face on with my right hand, so I can draw on a mustache, a mouth, and eyebrows, but have everything taped over except for where my glasses go. So when I walk through the snow in the winter, it just looks like I'm...
So like a potato head.
Yes, and
where you'll be able to move your eyes to different parts of your...
It's funny that you say that, because after the Invisible Man, that's the next progression I want to go with. My face and the shape is Mr. Potato Head, so I can change different venues. I'm working with someone that's doing LED and computer screen, small miniature ones, so I can move them around and change my face. I just like to ask questions. I like having a very childlike view of things. What made me happy as a child can still make me happy now if I just reevaluate how I look at it.
Here's what I've discovered lately is that I'm in touch with re-in touch with my childhood and fantasies and just exploring who I was, and now I'm living with that now as an adult.
Yeah.
In which it is harder to do than you'd think to re-child yourself.
It's really difficult. I got my mom, Brenda Carter Gaines, I call her Mama Gaines, so does all my friends. She's Mama Gaines, and she allowed me to do something that a lot of artists don't get a chance to do, and that's fully be immersed in what that is and get lost in that. New York City used to be a place where poor artisans, poor collectives of artists could come together and really have support in Manhattan, in Brooklyn, and create something and not have to worry about if they're going to get kicked out, because people understood the wealth and value of that. And now it's becoming, oh, you're an artist, that's great. So if you can't pay this, you got to go. If you can't live here, you got to go. And we've had to push ourselves out. But that's the way artists have always been. We've never stopped our art. We've just moved it. And my mother allowed me, after graduating NYU, not to have to rush to get a job, but to really find myself. And I never got rid of that childlike exploration. And she fostered it always. So I never had to just reconnect. I had to allow myself to stay connected, because that's really difficult for a lot of people, because it did mean I went through a lot of rough phases with and without. My friends call me a gypsy, because I'll have a place for a year and a half, amass an amazing amount of clothes, amass an amazing amount of storytelling with my look, and then have to pack it up and move. I've had my closet thrown away 3 times in my New York existence in 10 years, and each time I would cry, get really mad, and reamass it. And right now my friend is taking pictures of all of my clothes, and she's halfway done doing product shots, and she's taken 3,422. So I needed all those notes for my orchestra to work, because whenever I think of something, I'm like, oh, I need that. I need that little piece of ceramic cut-off doll that I kept and retaped, and I'll find it and re-put it in my look, or add it to what I'm wearing, or who I'm just saving it for. I'll save a garment in my stuff for a year and a half until I see that person again, because they've been on tour, they've been away, because their voice was important for me to echo. It's really important. New York streets, to me, are the runways of life. Everything is tested on those streets. And if the upper brow or the lower brow doesn't like it, respond, or react, then it's not worth it for me. I could stay at home and watch TV, and I don't have cable. So it'd be a blank screen.
Xavier, I love you very much.
Thank you.